Welcome to the front row. I'm your host, Brad Rowe, and this is a space where unfiltered stories of the human condition get told. Pull up a chair.
All I know is addiction can take your life over no matter who you are. Is like they're right from jail to jail, like it doesn't matter. And it sure didn't give a fuck who I was, because like it ate me up. And I held on for like the first 10 years was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. The last 12, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Now that I've grown up a lot, it was hell. The shit I did, drug dealing, and I'm not proud of. It's like, it's a hard pill to swallow when like it was you doing it. The drug addiction took over my life, and like the more I look back at it now, I see why I see why I did what I did. It was totally selfish. I was a selfish individual, which sucks to say when you had kids relying on you and a girl that trusted you, and it's like it hurts. Think I let my family down. It sucks, and it's a pain that I feel tremendous every day. But like like the drug addiction took over my life. It was always about a score, and me and D got divorced. We were together like 10 years. The fucking stroke fried my brain. I know it fried a lot of my brain. Drugs fried the rest of it, but I do know that I cried when my ex-wife told me, "Anna saw you sniffing the pills." She goes, "How do I tell her that? Why does Dad sniff them and not take them?" And I never got to answer that. And how would I? I would have lied anyway and made up a story. I gave up drugs, and I'm getting thrown in prison for bullshit charge that I still swear to God I never did. I did it many times to other girls. And I'm not proud of it. I'm not happy. I'm not proud of myself. I'm actually ashamed of myself that I did it to anybody. But like, I would be controlling and I'd be dominant. And I had tiny girlfriends, and I muscled them, not hit them, but I muscled them. Like I was imposing. I was a dickhead, and but I just, when I was so honest with her, and like, and she was a little heavy at the time, and she had that stomach bypass shit, and I was like the best nurse in the world for her. I was doing everything, and we were living up the beach. And I was like in heaven because I was like right on the water, and I was like waking up every day, walking the beach. I got a puppy. I was like, oh, this is good, man. Like, it's good to be clean. And I got I went to the gym. I got home, and I'm like, there's a cop. I go pull in, and being who I like, just knowing the game, I'm like, and just being part of the game, I was like, I saw one cruiser, then I saw another cruiser, then I saw another cruiser, and I said, oh, this isn't good. This is like, I'm like, oh, bringing me back. Like, oh, like, fuck. I get out of the car. Cop walks up to me. He's like, "Mr. Cardillo." I'm like, "Yep." I'm like, "What did I do?" He's like, "Is it restraint? You got a restraining order on you?" I'm like, "For what?" I'm like, He's like, I don't know. I'm just handed off. I'm like, don't shoot the messenger. I'm like, the cop was cool. He's like, you go, yeah, I got to give you 15 minutes, get some stuff out of the house. I'm like, all that shit's mine in the house, like in that apartment. I'm like, you kidding me? Like, he goes, I'll give you his, like, until I got another call. It was off season at the beach. It was during COVID. So I'm like, okay. So I grabbed everything I could because I'm like, this is not good. And then on my way home, and I didn't even know I broke the restraining order because like he handed it to me and like 15 seconds later, I sent her a text. All I said was, I thought drugs were the devil until I met you. And then a kiss emoji. And that's all I said. I swear to God, on the Bible, that's all I said. And like, go home. I'm back in Lawrence at my mother's. John and Melissa, my best friends, they made me a plate of pasta, and I took it home, and I was like, I just want to eat, go to bed. I get home to Lawrence, and there was like 8 cars in my house, 8 cruisers. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, and they're like, cop knocks on the door. Is Dan here? My mother's like, what's this for? She's like, I need to talk to Dan. I'm like, oh. I answered the door. I'm like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, yeah, I sent her a text. I go, I thought drugs are the devil, a kiss emoji. And the kid's like, I'm sorry, yeah, you gotta, they want you in Salisbury. I'm like, for what? He's like, you broke a restraining order. I'm like, wow, fuck. And I'm like, but it wasn't anything bad. I showed him the phone. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man. Like you could explain it in court.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, so I gotta go down the station. I'm like, you think you guys send enough cops? And they're like, well, we know you're past. I'm like, yeah, I'm not the same guy, man. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah. You gonna count me in? Like, oh, I'm like, I said to my mother, like, I'm sorry, my mom looking back at the door. My mother's crying. The cop walks in the house, which she had no right to because I didn't enter. I asked him to enter. He's like, I threatening to shoot my dog. I'm like, I'm not even getting into this. Like, I don't need more shit. And my sister's swearing at the cop. I says, we don't get along, but I love her sometimes. She goes, you like, fuck you. And she was like all over the cop. She's like, what you talking to? Like, and she was giving him some shit. And she's like, we're here. I'm like, I went to the Lawrence police station. And like I knew a lot of the cops at the time, and they're like, "Sorry, you had to do this." Like, they want you in Salisbury. I'm like, okay, and I'm like, I didn't send anything.
Yeah.
Like, my buddy was sergeant. He called the cop. He's like, I'll tell him to not get in touch with her again, and he won't. I know him. They want him. I'm like, so I don't even know. I don't know if she knew somebody or whatever, but I went to Salisbury, and they're like, you're not getting bailed out. We'll keep you overnight. You're going to court in the morning. I went to court in the morning. It was like a bad fucking dream, man. I'm like, and the guy says 420 days in Middleton. I'm like, what? Yeah, like you haven't even looked at me, looked up to look in my eyes. You can't even. I didn't do nothing. And I had a lawyer who sucked. And
What was it like previous
Did you get in trouble with the drugs at all before?
No, that blew my. I even told him, I'm like, you guys have no idea what I've gotten away with for so many years, and you could throw me in gym for like a domestic thing that I didn't even do. I'm like, I got tested. Like I had my landlord downstairs. The people, you know, the beach cottages, you could hear people fighting. I'm like, they only ever only heard us probably fucking, not fighting. I'm like, you shitting me? I'm like, I never raised my voice to her. I never even called the C word, nothing. I was like, oh my God. I was like trying to be a good guy. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting treated like this. I'm like, then on like, I said that I had to like jail, like, prison was the worst. Where like I thought I was like a hard guy. I'm not even close to that, man. I was like I was like I don't belong in here, and I was like so scared. But again, God watching out for me, puts me in there with my cellmate was a kid from Salty that was like he was a heavy drug addict, and he was the reason Boston started that narcotics team for breaking into pharmacies. He was the one. So he was charged, he had charges on him big time, and I was cellmates with him. So I'm like, he's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, he's like, if you're not doing anything, and try the game, make a plea, and you don't get like, he was kind of coaching me, but nobody fucked with me in there because he was like, and like we were doing pull-ups, and there was no weights, but there was a pull-up bar. We're doing pull-ups, push-ups, and all that shit, and our burpees and working out. He takes off his shirt. He's all covered in tattoos. He takes off his shirt. He's got a fucking swatch sticker around his stomach and fucking on his upper shoulder. It says white power. I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy. I'm like, I don't believe in any of that shit. So I'm like, everyone's like, what gang you in? What gang you with? I'm just a white boy with ink, man. Like, I'm just a fucking white boy with ink. And I go, I'm not any, I don't roll like that. I'm like, not for, nothing against not being disrespectful to you guys, but I'm not into that shit. And thank God, that's funny to say, but thank God there was a few people that I dealt with in there, like they had like relationships with, so like they were cool with me, but I was like scared 24 hours, like 23 hours a day. I was scared, and it was the worst fucking feeling of my life. And I couldn't reach out to anybody because I didn't know anybody's numbers from the top of my head. Like my buddy John was like, "What's going on?" Like, and no one. I was just written off. Finally, I said, "Lawyer," I'm like, "I'll do." Well, they're offering a plea. I said, "I'll take it." I didn't even know what the fucking thing was, but I didn't care because I knew I wasn't doing drugs. So I'm like, I got nothing to hide. So 6 months on a bracelet, 2 years probation. If I fucked up once, I was going back for 380 days. I served 30 days in there. I was like, holy shit. Okay, well, I know I can't fuck up. And I'm good with that anyway. So I went, had my marijuana card, so I could smoke weed. So I'm like, I got a medical card. My doctor was like, yeah, you're a drug addict. Like, yeah, weed's good for you. I'm like, okay. He didn't fight, argue. I did that but I had to go for a piss test whenever my colors came up. And my first parole guy was cool. He sent me like once every 2 weeks. Not that I cared, but it was a pain in the ass to go down Lawrence from the beach. And that eventually stopped being at the beach and going from Lawrence to Lawrence. But it still sucked. And but I was like once every 2 weeks. And I got a new kid who was young and like, want to be hot. And I'm like, And then he sent me every day for like a month. I'm like, what? Busting like I go, you're wasting the state's money. Like you are fucking not doing a good job because you're wasting money on a piss test every day for a guy who's clean.
Yeah.
But whatever, I'll make you happy. And I did it, without bitching. And but like,
So this is in what, 2020? Still 20?
yeah, 2020, yeah. And
What were you doing for work at that point?
I was actually 2020. I was delivering vending machine stuff for my buddy.
Yeah.
Who owned the company doing vending machines. So I had to get like a letter from him and like had to drive to New Hampshire and Mass and that. And but that judge was cool with that.
Yeah. And what was like, so you're clean at this point.
Yeah.
What was that like being sober? Like having to like sit with yourself? Or what were the challenges to stay sober?
Yeah, well, it took me a couple months. I actually couldn't even Bluetooth my phone to my radio when I got I was like that fucked up. When I got out of rehab, I couldn't even Bluetooth my phone. I forgot how to do shit because I was so used to being a functional drug addict.
Yeah.
That should be. I'm like, I was like, I couldn't drive and like going to meetings. That it was like, it was hard. It was so hard. Like when I had that thing over my head, like that parole violation shit, it was like, all right, you gotta, you can't go back to where you were. And you can't. So like, as long as I can smoke weed, I'm good. And they couldn't test me for steroids. So
yeah,
whatever. So I was just like, I just threw myself into all I knew was the gym.
Yeah.
And I threw myself back in. And then I was like, and in the meantime, I was still going, I was like going to Planet Fitness up in, I hate even saying I went to that gym, but I was going to Planet Fitness in Seabrook and then Hard Knocks in Amesbury and both of those gyms, and the zoo was opening.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I went, introduced myself. I said, hey, my name's Dillo, and hey, you got anyone working it? They were like open, just remodeling. And I met Rick. And I said, I just came clean right off the front. I'm like, hey, he's like, I can only pay you like $15 an hour. I'm like, I don't care. It's not about the money right now. It's about like
consistency. Yeah.
Yeah. Fresh start. At least start my life again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I'm good with it. And he's like, you don't care? I'm like, no, I don't. I go, like 2 or 3 days to begin. He goes, we'll see how it goes. And we'll see how it goes. And I said, yeah, okay. And little less than 2 months, I was running the gym for him. And because he's like, he wants this. And, it was a kid there that
I didn't want to. Yeah.
really want it. And like, I
To go just show up, like paychecks.
Yeah. I want this, man. Like, I give people shit. You gotta put those weights away.
Yeah.
Like, well, do it because I'm fucking not doing it. Like, and I'd like, I'd be old school on them. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, what am I, you fucking maid? Like, pick up after yourselves. And like, he liked that, and we're still tight to this day.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you have Planet Fitness across the street for $10, and that gym was. I loved the gym he ran, but it wasn't
he wasn't a businessman. He didn't understand gyms. He didn't understand how to market things and make things work. So, so that kind of, that brings us to where we met, you know,
so when I reached out to you, like, you know, I found out you, like, I was sad that you found out you were not bodybuilding anymore. Like, but like, I understood like where you were coming from, because I'm like, how long can you do that anyway? Like, that's such a hard sport. Like, but I had all the respect and admiration for you. You have no idea. Like, I'll say it. I say it all the time. Top 5 favorite bodybuilders. I was like Lee Priest, Jay Cutler, Brad Rowe, Sean Roden, and I'm torn between, like, everyone says Ronnie Coleman. I love Nick Walker. Yeah, I just love this. I just love his presence. But like Lee, because he was small, he was short, not small. He was short and, spoke his mind. Jay, because you were a Boston guy. You, because you're a New Hampshire guy. As far as I'm concerned, you're from where I am. I got you. And like, I have all the respect in the world for bodybuilders, because I know how hard it is to do. Like, every day, a relentless routine every day. And like, that takes fucking balls. It takes consistency. It's a lot of hard work. And like, you became successful at it, and you were a great coach, and you were a huge help to so many people. And I understand why now. Like, you helped me, like, like, so much. You have no idea how much I respect you and love you, for like you helping me, all you have.
we'll get there.
It's like,
So when I when I left LA, I hopped in the van and came back to New Hampshire, and Dillo DM me and he's like, "Hey, I see you're coming in the area. I'm managing at this gym, and I needed a gym to train at." And so he's like, "I'll get you a free membership," and gave me a free membership. And I met the owner, Rick, and Rick was like, "Hey, if you want to train people here, you can go ahead."
Yep.
Just as long as they have a membership, I didn't care. So you guys really kind of like helped me out, because I was in this weird transition of my life of like, I just walked away from everything. God's telling me not to work, but I'm still like freaked out, and I'm like, all right, so I'm stranded home, and so I at least had a gym. I had someone to train at, and when I'd met you, like I said, man, there was like, you told me some of your story, and there was just something immediately that I knew that God had a mission for you and a purpose for you, to help out, and to speak to guys who are dealing with addiction, and because you just had this sheer vulnerability about you, the way you open up, and that is rare, and honesty that you have. So I'm grateful for that. And then the story just doesn't, the story doesn't end there, because like not long after, that's when you had your stroke.
Yeah. Like, who, I figured, I knew steroids, they would take a little bit off my life, and I was okay with that. Like, I really didn't care if I had a heart attack at 65, 60. I was okay. I'm still okay with that. But I never thought about a stroke. I thought, yeah, my heart's gonna go. Okay, it's gonna go. But I never thought about a stroke. And I was getting, I was training hard. You were back, and putting me through that newbie. My body was coming back to life, and I was like, oh, such in a zone. And then, I wasn't taking a lot of shit. I was taking maybe more than a 50, 70-year-old guy should. Well, I was 55 at the time, but like, still not a lot. And but like, the stroke, I don't know. I just don't know why God didn't take me then. Because like it left me struggling. Like the gym closed because we didn't have a gym anymore. So I lost my job. Unemployment because like all these New Hampshire, Massachusetts shit. I'm like, oh my God. And like the stroke hit me and like I'll be paralyzed. My part of my right hand, I can't write anymore. I was not a great artist, but I was the damn good one. I can't even draw no more. I can't even draw a straight line. I can't, like, my hand, like this. Thank God I can still grab weights because that's the only thing that's helping me. I don't, I don't know. I didn't see it happening. But like, my face is partially paralyzed. That's why I have a hard time talking sometimes, which is maybe a good thing for people that I finally can shut the fuck up. But like, it's like a struggle. I thought addiction was a struggle, and it is. But like, the stroke is like taken like, yeah, it feels like it's taken a lot out of me. I'm not, I used to be like, everybody used to think I was like always coked out. I was so energetic and still was flying around all the time. Yeah, I was like on a lot of pills, but like I was still, I was, and I had that, a spark. Now it's hard to even get that fucking spark going. It's like so hard. And, they, I still can't, believe I haven't put anything on my nose. And it's been 6 years, 9 months, and like 7 days, which is impressive for me because like 2 weeks ago, I came close to throwing it all away. Like really, 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 really close. And I'm glad I didn't because I know, what I have learned from AA is that it would have done nothing for me. It would have just brought me back to day one. And I never want to go back to day one.
Yeah.
I never want to go back to day one.
Yeah. And some of the things that we've talked about is, it's like you got sober, you're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to be a better man and make up for past. And all of a sudden it's like, now here's a stroke.
Yeah.
It just takes away everything because now you can't work.
Yeah.
You can't find anything to do right now for work wise.
Yep.
You're not getting paid enough from disability to survive and function.
Yep.
Like everything has been stripped away from you basically.
Yep.
On top of that, I know
my kids hate me. My kids hate. That's like, and I don't blame them because they're kids. They're grown now, but like my daughter is still in college. My son graduated college, which I'm so proud of him. Logan, I'm so proud of him. And he graduated in criminal justice, not to become a cop, but he's helping kids, like, I guess, in the prison or some shit like that. And I'm like, why aren't they reaching that? Because I wrote them all letters when I could, but like, I would like to talk to them to their face and tell them, I am sorry. I'm like, I hate myself more than you guys do, but I know why you hate me because I hate myself. It's a sucky feeling to live with. A real sucky feeling to live with. It's like a fucking pain in your heart that just won't go away, you know? And it sucks. It sucks. Because, like, you know, to AA, I see some people, you know, they celebrate their sobriety dates. They have their kids come in, and their, you know, wives and everything, and like that's just not my story. I wish it was, but that isn't. And somehow I have to find a way to keep going on, and it's hard. It's fucking hard. I came close a few times to putting that gun in my fucking mouth, and thank God I never had the balls to pull the trigger, but I had it in my mouth. And you know, my girl who I live with now, she hid the bullets, so I don't even know where the bullets are. But like, cause she knew, like, you can't have this fucking gun. You know what I mean? You're gonna shoot somebody, and I'm afraid to turn it in because I don't know where the fuck it came from. So I'm not going down that path. Like, cause if I ever have to open it on somebody, it's because they're in my house, and I don't care. So, but I don't even have the bullets in the gun to do that, so I couldn't even do that if I wanted to. Yeah, they get pistol whip. Let my dog take care of that. Yeah, it's like, but you know, I don't know. It's like weird. The circle life plays on us because you know, like the friendship I had with Mickey was real. You know, I was like part of the family, and I fucked that up, and that sucked. That sucks to this day. I'm gonna try to, you know, let's see what I can do about that. My ex-wife knows. I talked to her on the phone. Like, I'm sorry. You know, like how many I can't say I'm sorry enough. You know, I had a couple another girl that was like with for 2 years that had no idea I was the guy I was, and I to this day I'm sorry about that. Her name was Baba. She was a good uh, a good girlfriend. She had no idea what that the storm that was behind me. I was with her when my dad died, and when my dad died, she drew me out the night of my dad's wake. She's like, "Your stuff's outside." I'm like, "All right." Yeah, shit. Somebody told her, you know, and only a matter of time, but was out anyway. So, and you know, I'm sorry that ever happened too. Because I did love her. But like I went through like after I got out of prison, I didn't want anything to do with girls. I like I gotta stay clean. That's the most important thing. Stay clean. And when the day I got out of jail, the Band of Brothers group reached out to me. It was a guy that in the Band of Brothers who reached out and called me because he knew I was out of jail. And I answered the phone. I go, "Hey, what's up?" And I call him Miyagi. I go, "What's him? I'm Miyagi." He was like, "How are you?" I'm like, "Better now." But he goes, "Well, there's a private men's group called the Band of Brothers." I said, "Why I had to go to prison to get invited to this?" Like, you fucking assholes. And they're like, "Just be there at 6 o'clock Tuesday, and it's in Reading." I said, "Okay." And I'm like, "All right, good to know." It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And when I got out of jail, I was like, "Fuck this. I'm going like I had the chip on my shoulder again. I was like, fuck it. Fuck all chicks. I was using the other C word, but I was like, fuck them all. I'm going back to doing what I did. If I'm going to jail, we're going to go all my way. And I'm like, I made a phone call when like, it was like, hey, haven't heard from you in a while. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. And he's like, I'll give you $5,000 up front, and then worked that off. And well, all right, because I was a good earner for this guy. But he knew it, and he's like, I'm in. And then I was going. Guy got in my car. I was on my way. I put in the GPS this address. Yeah, I drove there instead of going to pick up. And I got a phone call. Hey, where are you? I go, I'm sorry, man. I don't want to go get back in that. He's like, well, I'm always here if you need me. I'm like, yep, thanks. And he was like, I'm not pushing anything. I'm like, all right. And I was like, all right, thanks. And I got off the phone. I went to that. There's certain, the group I go to is in Reading. It was in Wakefield, and at the Masonic Temple. And it's called the Peace of Mind Group. I call it the Peace of Mind Group, and Iron Maiden has an album called Peace of Mind. And I'm like, yeah, not bad. Didn't even have Iron Maiden, so I'm like, all right, I'll go. I'm like, what am I gonna learn from a room full of drunks? Who knows? But like, I haven't picked up, so something sunk in.
Yeah.
And they're all there's more addicts now in there with AA, but they all drank too, because alcohol is easy.
Yeah.
I don't. There's like some amazing fucking guys in AA that like you wouldn't think they're in AA, but they are. And a few of them have touched my heart. That's why I put it on my neck. My whole neck piece is like a sobriety. I wasn't tattooed in 2020 anywhere on my neck. And but like, I got out of there. That's why I got a cross on my thing. It says only God can judge me. And I put my sister and her wife's initials on there because they got me in rehab. And then, it's amazing that I've stayed clean. It blows my mind because, like, I want to, like, I never want, like, I don't want to use, but like, I came close a couple weeks ago. Everything was like weighing on me big time. I was like, and I was at the place, I'm like, sitting in my car for like an hour. Where's gonna get me? I'm gonna let down Brad. I'm gonna let down some of my close friends now. I don't want to do that. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I left. I actually texted you when I was there. And I started my car. I drove off. I'm like, all right, we're good. And then I was good. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's like weird. Like the people that who would have thought God would have brought you in my life from a simple like, hey, you've been a fan for like 7 years, 8 years, coming home, cool. Like, like to me, that's a go. You come walking in, Rick's like, that's funny too. I would never get Rick's like, who was this fucking monster walking in? I'm like, hey, that game time. I'm like, that's Brad. He's like, you were just talking about him. I'm like, yeah. And like, it was weird. I was like, what's up, man? Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's like I said, you had, like, I didn't meet you when you're going through the drugs, but like, this is probably as close to your rock bottom as you've been.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
dealing with a stroke, like you've downplayed it, how much it's really affected you. You know, you said like you're an artist. That's your outlet.
Yeah.
The gym was an outlet between carrying your shoulder out right around the same time as the strokes. Because you had two major strokes.
Yep.
You know, back to back.
Yep.
And so
4 minor ones and 2 major ones.
right. So taking away, you know, your ability to speak, taking away your ability to train, taking away like everything, and then, you know, like you said, like here you are, you're like why, God? Like I'm sober. I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm going to meetings. I'm speaking at meetings. I'm trying to make impact, but yet
I'm being faithful to whoever I'm with,
right,
for a relationship. And like my girl now is like so supportive. Like she's by far the best thing that, you know, she's had my back to all of it. We've had a couple skirmishes, fights, but they haven't been like, they were minor. Like, and she struggles too with her own shit, and like she's like, thank God I got her, because like I need her now more than I ever have, and she's there for me, and you know, I thank God for her, you know, every day, you know, and like it sucks that me and my mother aren't close, you know, we were close while we were getting there, and me and my sister, we just two different types of thinking-paths, and you know, yeah, unfortunately, we're not close. But you know, I love her for getting, she had a huge part in getting me clean, and I love it for that, and I love her because she's my blood. But you know, some things we just have different thoughts on shit, and you know, it is what it is. But like, I just wish everything was different. But like, yeah, I'm like close to rock bottom as you get. Like, I struggle with it, like, and it sucks because I see a lot of people struggle. Like, even people who have money struggle with other shit. I struggle because I don't have any money, and like, and that sucks, because like, you need money to live. Not to buy extravagant shit, not to buy drugs or anything like that, but like just to live, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, the stroke is like, and like it's not getting any better. If anything, it's actually getting worse. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And they can't tell me, and they don't tell me shit. You know, the docs is like, we don't know. It's like, you don't know. You're telling me like have this part of that, like fuck you, you don't know. Like, you're telling me to do this, but it's hard to do that.
Right.
No,
But it's, you know, and we've had this conversation over and over, and you know, this is something I want you to touch base on here is, like, you've committed yourself to Christ, you've accepted Him as your Savior.
Yep.
But you still haven't forgiven yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah, I know.
That's one of the things that I fight with you all the time, because this man, he just beats himself up and talks negatively about himself because of his past, and then you know, it's trying to tell him like the whole idea of accepting Christ is to be a redeemer.
Yeah,
you are clean. You are a good man. You are a good man. You have a huge fucking heart. I wouldn't be putting all this time and energy and effort into cultivating this relationship and bringing you into the things that I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't know that you had a great heart, you were an amazing person, and you have a purpose on this earth that God has for you. But I need you to realize that, you know, and I know that your kids not speaking to you is probably the worst thing. hands down the worst thing for you.
Yeah.
And we've had that conversation over and over again. And like I said, all you can do is just continue to be the man that you are now. Continue on this path of being straight and clean. Continue to clean up your own personal mindset of getting rid of those negative self-talks, and continue just serving and pouring into God's kingdom. And no matter what happens, you will either see them in heaven and things will be rejoiced, or you'll be able to create a better relationship here on earth. Either way, you're promised heaven, you're promised promised land. And you know, one of the things that I've said to you is, you know, unfortunately there's people out there that suffer, you know, and there's you know, when we get to heaven, we have these judgments and we're rewarded certain things. And like I told you, maybe God knows you're so strong that he's giving you the award, the judgment of suffering. And you just have to make it through this life and suffer as much as you can, because your suffering and your ability to stay clean and stay sober, no matter what's going on, is going to be a story for other people. With everything, with the suicidal thoughts, without your kids loving you, without being able to work, everything being piled on top of you. I know it seems like you would just rather be dead.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
But that is going to be your strength. That is going to be how you impact people. And really, people don't know, like, you guys know that I run a bunch of different men's group. I make him be a part of 3 of my different men's groups because he makes such an impact in everybody's lives because of his openness, because of his vulnerability. And I've told him, like God has put it on my heart that like you were going to be part of everything that I'm trying to build as well, because of who you are and what you've been through and what you're still going through and still trying to focus on him.
Yeah.
Focus on your cleanness.
And I'm forever grateful for that, for you. You have no idea how grateful I am for you. Yeah, you know, in AA, they say, put the bat down. I can't.
You got it, brother. You got it.
You know,
and that's what we talk about. Like all the residual issues going on with the stroke is like, you just beating yourself up. You just living in this negative mindset. You just, you know, stressing yourself out of all these things of your past. And that's no longer who you are.
Yeah.
You know, you've been washed clean.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, man. It's easier said than done. I don't know. I've tried to, like, all right, I forgive myself, and then I'll see somebody in their car with their daughter, and I'm like, it's like, fuck. You know what I mean? It's still there. I'm like my best friend passed away last year, and I was like, you know, telling God, like, take me, you know, like, take me. You know, he's got 2 kids who love him, and a wife that loves him. Like, just take me. If you need somebody, take me instead. You know, like, I'll switch places with him, and I'd be happy to stand up for him. And it didn't work that way, you know. He called me on a Friday. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna see you. I'll see you." It was like he died on April Fool's Day, and it's still one of the worst. I think about him all the time, and that was a hard thing, you know. And like being at his funeral and seeing all the guys, and everybody was all fucked up, and you know, like I miss him so much. It sucks, and you know, my kids want no part of me. I don't blame them. I wish they would, but I don't blame them. But I try being a part of his kids' lives now because he's not there, and I spend, you know, I don't see my mother because holidays, because my sister and all that shit, and like I've spent Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's with his family and my girlfriend. And I'm going to be there for till I can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I owe that to him.
Yeah. And, back to your kid thing, and I know how painful it is, man. And, my prayers are that your children find forgiveness for you. And, especially navigating what my family went through about a month ago, losing my aunt. My aunt was a heroin addict when she was younger, and she had 3 kids and lost custody of her kids. And my grandmother raised 2.5, 3 of her kids, for their entire lives. And, when she passed away, 2 of her kids didn't go see her. They refused to. They refused to go see her, while she was in hospice, and say their goodbyes. And man, and that's poison that they're going to carry, unfortunately. And so more than anything, more than for you even to get the joy of your children coming back to you, I just pray that they can find forgiveness, because there's going to be a day that they're not going to be able to ever say goodbye to you. And I don't want them to take that to the grave, because it is going to hurt them.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. Like, I want your heart to feel full, that you can have your kids back in your life, but I don't want them to have to suffer that pain of unforgiveness, because that's all it does. All unforgiveness does, it doesn't hurt you. I mean, it does hurt you because your heart hurts, but it's going to hurt them so much more.
Yeah.
They can't come to that.
And I know, because like, I had to apologize to my dad to a tombstone.
Yeah.
That was the worst fucking, thing ever. And it's like, I blame you for so much, but you did what you could, and I sorry, like, like I told you, like a few weeks ago, I tried this a few years ago to like get everything out, and I went to the cemetery and I had a heartfelt talk. Maybe it was half done. I don't know, but like a few weeks ago, I said like, I was driving to my boy's garage. I was going by the cemetery. I'm like, I'm gonna stop and say hi. I stopped, talked to my cousin for a couple seconds. I said, hey man, miss you. I said hi to my aunt and uncle. I walked to my father's stone where my sister and brother are. And I said, I talked to a stone. I was talking to that stone for like 25 minutes, all fucking crying my eyes out, saying I'm sorry. And yeah, it sucked. It sucked. But I felt like, okay, like it's off.
You got it off your chest. You released it. And he heard you.
Yeah. I really, yeah, I got it off. And I was like, all right. I had a good day. No, but yeah, it's the bed I can't put down.
Well, let's put it down.
Yeah.
You know what, man? I just thought about, so I was trying to get Dillo to come up to Montana, spend some time with me. I was going to baptize him there.
Yeah.
But I say we go down to fucking Seabrook Beach and do it today. Let's wash this new clean, brother.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's put that bat down. Let's cleanse you. Let's release all this shit that you're hanging on to, that you got to release, man. Like, you're worried about this, why the stroke and the pain isn't going away. It's because the pain here that you're not letting go is affecting everything else in your body, which is what's culminating all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Even the doctor said your stress and everything else.
Yeah.
Not even the steroids as much. It's more the stress. And
yeah.
So like,
yeah,
you gotta let it go, bro. You gotta let it go. It is disrespectful to the sacrifice of Jesus Christ to continue to hang on and hold on to that.
Yeah.
Because he loves you. That's good. God made you for a reason. And I know that. And he has spoken to me over and over again about your purpose on this earth and the impact you're going to make and the impact you already have made, you know, and he sees it all the time. He goes to meetings and speaks and, you know, he beats himself up. I'm a piece of shit. I'm not worthy. Then he goes to a meeting and he's like, I had like 5 guys crying and coming up to me and thanking me and all this shit. It's like, why can't you see what we see? What everyone else in the group sees? Everyone texts me. How's Dillo? Like, why can't he see us? How he see himself, how we see him?
Yeah. I don't know.
How God sees, and God sees you even greater than how we see you. You're an awesome fucking dude.
I guess one of those mysteries.
Just start loving yourself, man. Just accept that love. You know, it's one of those things we learn how to receive, not just give. We learn how to receive too. That's one of my struggles is receiving.
Yeah.
You know,
And big time struggle to receive it.
so we take me coming here as I flew across the country to see my family, but really it was to get this asshole on a podcast. I think we do the baptism this week.
Yeah.
While I'm home.
Yeah. Well, I'm in.
But that means you start a new life. It means no more negative self-talk. You know, keeping that positive spin on everything, no matter what's happening. You know, you got to think about the apostles, man. Like you get in the Bible and you read about Paul, who, you know, you want to talk about, here's a man who killed people in the name of Jesus, killed people who believed in him. And then all of a sudden became his greatest disciple and was in prison being tormented and still kept a positive attitude because he was a child of Christ. And that's the mentality you need to have right now. The crown of suffering has been put on your head, but have joy and rejoice in the fact that you are saved and that you are going to be at the right hand of your Father because of Jesus. And you need to start living like that. You wear the cross, you wear the shirt, you got a cross tattooed on your neck. Let's start fucking living it, dude. Start living it.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying.
You're worthy. You are, man. You're worthy. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of all the goodness that the world wants to offer you. You just don't think you are, and that's why you're blocking all your blessings. You, when it comes to people helping, like you're trying to do everything on your own. I've said, you know, come to me when you need something. And the last thing you want to do is come to someone because you feel like that makes you weak. But it's not. It's not. The reason why we have brotherhood, that's the reason why we have people in our lives. It's the reason why God puts people in our lives. And when you don't reach out and you don't lean on us, and I'm guilty of the same shit, but we are blocking other people's blessings from us. And you're blocking your own blessings that God wants to give you. June 11th, 2026, a new day for you.
Yep.
I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, man.
I thank you for your friendship, for just who you are, for who you are in the groups, for the way you support others in our groups. And I'm so excited to continue on this path of life with you, man, and see what God has in store for you. I know he's got big things. I just need you to keep his eyes on him.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I try, man. I try.
Just do it. It's like muscle. Like I tell you, man, it's like you're lifting weights. You were a scrawny little kid all those times, but it took repetition after repetition after repetition. And that's what creating a positive mindset is about. It's repetition after repetition, holding every thought captive, every negative thought that comes, grab it and be like, oh, that's not truth. Remove that. That's not a word from God. That's not a word from him. That's what we got to work on.
Yep.
So I appreciate you taking the time to come on here.
Actually, yeah, I love seeing you. So I thank you for the time.
Like I said, it was I was excited to get Dillo on here because he's got a story and he's open and he's raw, he's real. And I hope that his story can make an impact on any of you guys' lives that are just going through it and you feel like you're just getting kicked and kicked and kicked and kicked and there's no way out, but there is, and you're doing a lot better than you really think you are. there's hope. So, I'll see you guys next time.
This story ends today, but yours is still waiting to be told. You're not alone in this walk in life. If this hits you, share it with someone that needs it. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Find me at Brad B. Rowe at Instagram. And if you're ready to step into the front row of your life, whether it be the fellowship, the foundry, coaching, or support the ministry, you can find it all at frontrow.co. I'll see you next week.